Hello world, Augustine Cortez coming to you live from the Web3, also known as tint.eth. And today I want to discuss a bit more of a philosophical approach for the daily learnings. Um, Specifically, I'll be talking about NFTs, more about the community aspect, and I won't dive too much in depth about the marketing and what components make a great NFT collection. We'll discuss that in the future videos, but for context, the experience that I've been going through past couple days, that'll make it relevant for this discussion. So over the past few days, I was jumping into newer blockchains and getting exposed in their NFTs. So these are the Cardanos, the Tezos, and the Solana. Solana is newer, but it's already fairly established. High ticket entrance for collections. So in a way, I was behind on the Solana jump. But regardless, I got my exposure on all the other chains, and I started to get a mixture of collections. I started buying NFTs, starting to see which I believe had potential, and I jumped in. One of the ones that I am bullish on, I think has good possibility, is a project called Henkongs, which is on the Tezos blockchain. And part of the Henkongs collection is the Hen punks. So these are the punks that are essentially the secondary creation of CryptoPunks, but on the Tezos chain. Obviously, replicas, they work. I think the Soul Punks, which is a replica of the CryptoPunks on the Solana chain, I think they're like the third most trading volume collection. So it works. It's kind of like the flea markets, right? The secondary market will always be there for the replicas. And being aware of that, I decided to buy some punks, but the Henkongs, I believe, has unique art to stand on its own. So this was one of the Tezos collection. I was like, okay, this is really cool. And I bought these punks, or yeah, punks, I think like 2 weeks back, very early. And yesterday or 2 days ago, I saw that they followed me on Twitter. And that was exciting to me because the Tezos chain, the Tezos marketplace is very clunky. You don't get much exposure towards the artist. And when I saw that they followed me on Twitter, I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I've been wanting to connect with the community and see what's going on, because on Tezos, it's more you just buy and that's pretty much it. And it's one of the, from my philosophy is be so early, it's uncomfortable. So seeing that there's a community behind it already, I'm like, okay, this is awesome. Just going full circle with this project now. And what ends up happening is I chat with the founder, or the creator, I should say, and we start going back and forth. I'm like, hey, I've been in multiple communities. This and the community he launched was very new. It was a few days old. So I'm like, yo, it's super exciting. I'm bullish on the project. And I was just giving them value from a collector, marketer, a founder perspective. And I'm like, hey, like, let me be an admin and I'll help foster this community. So long story short, I became an admin on this Discord community. It's new, it's getting off the ground, and I have skin in the game. Right? I'm a collector and I believe in the project. I'm bullish. So in a sense, this almost became like a job. It's an asset that will appreciate in the terms of some effort that I do. So that's really exciting. And the discussion about NFT collection is, okay, what can a company or a creator do to foster engagement? And being in the position to create engagement now, I think it's an interesting question, because communities are one of the biggest assets in the NFT space. They're the ones that can hype up the speculative value. They're the ones that decide when to sell. They can attract and recruit other people. So they are your sellers and they got skin in the game itself. And being in such an early project, there's so much to do. Even the chain itself, the chain isn't as robust, for example, as Ethereum, where you can just launch a DAO fairly easily. You can do staking all these other variables that make an NFT extremely valuable on other chains are limited. So it's okay, what alternatives can you do to foster the community? And one thing I'm noticing on these chains, I saw it more on Cardano, is that they're on that chain for the chain they're on is the first chain that they've gone through. They didn't start off on Ethereum and move over. They start on Tezos, or they start on Cardano, and they're building up. So I found that quite interesting. And Ethereum being the most robust chain, it makes me think, okay, like there's a lot that Ethereans can bring into these other chains and grow the chains itself. So it's like super exciting because you're jumping from world to world based off chain. And right now, I'm just engaging with the community, asking questions, where they're from, doing some Twitter raids. For example, I told another mod in the Discord, I'm like, hey, we should do a Twitter channel. When someone asks for a collection to drop, some people on Twitter like, I want to buy art, show it to me. Let's do a Twitter raid or Twitter stampede where someone responds with a tweet, and then more members of the community comes together, dropping the pics, images, and getting more people around that. So I was introducing ideas like that, and yeah, it's super exciting to just get people up and running. Like it's an asset. So I'm really excited for that. But like the area I just want to focus on is the philosophy of community. Being a founder myself is okay. How do you create something that people are gonna base identity on, leverage utilization, and other aspects? I think NFTs have the capability of becoming almost to the point of a cult. And what I mean by that is that identities are very, very tied to NFTs now. Profile characters, profile pictures, PFPs. Pseudonymous identities are going to be formed with these NFTs. And if they use your PFP or your image, they're using it as an entity. And what culture, what symbolism, what viewpoint do you want this symbol to project out there? For example, if you have a CryptoPunk right now, it's a social status of you got money, or you were either in a game really early, or you just know your stuff. You know, to get a CryptoPunk, it's not easy. So there's that aspect. We got a Bored Ape Yacht Club. Okay, you're probably really early in the Ethereum NFTs. You're in that community, and so on. So then it starts trickling down to the Mutant Ape Yacht Club. And you got the Toads, and then the higher the chain, the more like NFT competency and money circulation starts getting involved. But these communities, you see them on social media, and they're embodiments of the NFT aspect. So that leads to the question, okay, what are the variables? And it's a psychometric component that I think a lot of people don't necessarily focus on. Coming from a background of cognitive psychology, not that I practice and was a psychologist myself, but being aware of the domain, there's so much room for strong opportunity in terms of making an NFT an entity. So this is kind of where my mind is roaming around. I'll be discussing more about these ideas. We want to create an NFT that embodies an autodidact, someone that educates on the web and is a learner. We want to capture that essence. How do we do it? Well, art's going to be one part, core component, but also the culture. What does it stand for? And we're already taking into consideration all the variables to create this identity and to create this community. So that's super, super exciting. Right. So I think I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna conclude it. Don't want to go riff out too long, but it's just something that I want to throw out there is think about these NFTs as a possibility to create an entire entity and what symbolism and essence wants to be projected out there from the NFT. That will yield a specific type of community, and the more established it becomes, the more reinforced it gets among social media, more of a broad and mind share aspect they'll reach, and who knows where it can lead to, right? So there's a lot of opportunity here, and it's exciting to see what's to come next. All right. So with that being said, salute. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you tomorrow.